Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. And most importantly, drop us a comment. We want to hear your thoughts. All right, boys, here we are. It's a special weekend. It's a Saturday. We're getting ready for the final. Dave's been waiting for this week.
Yes.
Dave, it's arrived.
Well, a couple things. We are at the end of a very long Brown season. It's been rough. We've talked about that the entire year, Steve, and both me, Steve, and you have talked about it, Brent. So we are at the end of a very long season here, but we're here. By the way, we've got a couple of big games this Saturday. We're actually going to talk about the three biggest games this weekend. Each of us have that game. So I'm really excited to get into all of it, Brent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Steve, you excited for this Saturday here? What, you excited for it?
I am. My game of the week plays today, actually in a few hours. So I'm definitely excited. And of course, last Browns game Sunday.
Yeah, this is it. And we will get right to it, guys. The first segment of the day, and that is the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. They will wrap up the season. This will be week 18, and we will lead with Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, give us a preview of the Browns and Bengals matchup.
All right, boys. It's the final game of the season going into Cincinnati. There are many question marks for the Browns. Will this be Kevin Stefanski's last game coaching the Browns? Will Shedeur do enough to be your 2026 starter? Will Myles Garrett break the sack record? Guys, there's lots of questions in mind for this game. I actually don't mind if we lose this game for better draft position as long as Shedeur keeps us in it. And then, of course, playoffs, it's just another game to end the season. It is the Battle of Ohio, however. And as you guys remember, the Bengals beat us 17-16 in the first meeting in the first game of the season. And that was when Andre Schmidt missed the extra point and a field goal, causing us to lose the game. Yes.
We need a kicker. Yeah, that's what we were.
Remember they said that?
We were cursing the kicker. Brett was talking about minimum wage workers at the time and things like that. It was crazy.
And listen, that's giving me PTSD. Remember how down and out I was, Dave, after that game? I was
bad place. Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough, guys.
Dave telling me, Brad, I'm used to it. You got to be used to it.
Yes. Well, Steve will testify. We're way too used to suffering as Browns fans. Isn't that right, Steve?
That's right.
Yeah.
Guys, Andre Schmidt, he's come a long way since that. He's been nearly perfect on extra points and field goals. I guess he thanked the Browns organization and coaches for keeping with them. Because, guys, he did turn it around after that point. That's for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, he's been kicking the ball well, Steve. Good call.
Yeah. Well, Zach Taylor, the Bengals coach, the guy that me and Brett and Dave, you too, we call him the man from Mars.
Yeah.
He said his New Year's resolution is beat Cleveland.
Oh, wow.
So, look, he's coming out and saying something,
You don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, Steve.
That was the best ever. Sam White, when he said that, you're much better than a Zach Taylor New Year's resolution, right, Dave?
Yeah. Interesting point about Taylor. I've heard some rumblings. I don't know a lot of Bengals fans, but I've heard from a few that aren't the happiest in the world with Zach Taylor. I think that, a lot of people felt he was just gifted Joe Burrow, but a lot of people feel that, the Brown, family there and that organization, he's still in the good graces. Remember how long they kept Marvin Lewis there for
No, they're not getting rid of Zach Taylor.
Yeah, they'll keep him around. I mean, I'm not a big fan of him, but having Burrow helps your matter. But he also does run a good offense, in my opinion, a better offense than Stefanski, as he did with Joe Flacco and Joe Burrow. He definitely runs a better offense.
Remember, Steve, Burrow doesn't have any fun anymore, remember?
I know, he's not having fun, making all those millions and getting the nice haircuts, wearing those nice clothes. The girls probably, no fun. Come on, right?
There's a lot of people that have not had a whole lot of fun playing for that Bengals organization. I mean, we think we've got it bad here. A lot of Bengals fans here from aren't very complimentary about that organization and their hierarchy there.
Something to be said. I heard a rumor that they got worse food than the Retzer family reunion food with the potato salad. That's what I heard.
Oh, jeez.
They don't even feed their players, or you get better food at the Retzer family reunion. So anyway,
Well, there's always good food there.
There you go.
Yeah, keep going, Steve.
Well, guys, another guy had something to say, and that was Joe Burrow. He said, I'm not going out of my way to not let him get the record, meaning Myles Garrett.
Mhm.
He goes, there's going to be situations where a sack is the best of the bad outcomes of that play. Guys, this approach is different than what the Steelers had in mind, and they lost the game.
Right.
Myles always has his big games against Burrow and the Bengals. So, guys, I do think he will be breaking the record tomorrow. The question is, if he breaks the record, will there be an asterisk by his name stating he did it in 17 games, not 16?
Well, Steve, I would say no to that. First of all, I have a Burrow comment.
Yes.
And to a Myles comment real quick. First of all, Burrow comment, I have to say, is the one thing about Burrow, and it's something that's part of his game. And I know obviously they've had weak offensive line play for a lot of his time there in Cincinnati. Actually, they got to the Super Bowl, almost won the Super Bowl with maybe the worst offensive line in the league. And, the year that they lost to the Rams.
Yeah, it was bad.
That being said, Joe Burrow is one of those guys that will stare down the gun barrel and wait for plays down the field to develop. And sometimes he'll take some hits and some sacks that way. And I think that's been, kind of an issue with his game. It's some look at it as a strong suit, but as a quarterback, you're gonna take some hits doing that, and he certainly has over the course of his career. Last thing on the Myles thing, I don't think there should be an asterisk for it. There wasn't an asterisk when Eric Dickerson broke the rushing record, and he did it in 16 games, and OJ did it in 14 games. I'm done with asterisks. No asterisks.
No, I don't agree. I don't like the asterisk. No,
I wanted to see your guys' thoughts on that, because here's the deal. I mean, just what Dave said is correct, and I hope not. But if it's a record, it's a record to be broken. And get this, guys. Eventually, the NFL will go to 18 games, so expect some more records to be broken down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Browns have key injuries in this game, guys, making it harder for them to get a win. They will be without star tight end Harold Fannin Jr., which is unfortunate because he is Shador's go-to guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to see him have, the most receptions for a rookie tight end and get more yards or touchdowns as well. Speaking of tight ends, David Njoku is out for the fourth straight game. It looks like Blake Whiteheart may get the start, a Stefanski favorite.
Well, Steve, by the way, I think this might be David Njoku's last year with the Cleveland Browns. I think Harold Fannin, to a certain extent, has made him expendable. Just have to say that.
I think so. I wonder if they're just keeping him out. I'm sure he may still be injured, but they might just be holding him out to see what they're going to do for the plans for next year. The Browns are also without rookie sensation linebacker Carson Schlesinger. That's a tough break on defense. He was tied with future Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner of the Commanders for total tackles on the season. He's like top 5 in tackles, guys. I mean, that's a big loss. I know he's a rookie, but they depended a lot on him. He was the leader of that defense.
Yeah.
Shador will be without his best weapons, being Judkins and Fannin. He'll have to rely on Dylan Sampson at running back once again. I think Shador will have to scramble for his own yards, and I wouldn't be surprised if he leads the team in rushing, guys. This could be a big passing day for Shador, given the Bengals defense doesn't look so good, as we know, and are played with many injuries themselves.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The combination of Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, and Isaiah Bond will have to take charge and get open. Jeudy should take on that number 1 role, but the Bengals defense will likely know that as well. I'd like to see Tillman get more involved in the offense. Don't be surprised if Stefanski has Reese get involved with Blake Whiteheart. Remember, guys, he caught a touchdown pass in the Raiders game last season. Stefanski's always been a big Blake Whiteheart guy.
I would say if there's ever a game also to let it rip, it's against this weak Bengals pass defense. It's been exploited by a lot of, not even strong passing games this year. So, the Bengals have given up their fair share of big plays in the passing game. This might be a game to let Shador let it rip, by the way, Steve.
Oh, yeah, you could see a lot of yards like the Tennessee game. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
It could be a shootout with him and Burrow. Our offensive line is the same as last week, so let's hope they can block for Shador. Defensively, we know Jim Schwartz will be sending Myles Garrett and Alex Wright after Joe Burrow. With Schlesinger out, Devin Bush will have to take on a big role and make a lot of tackles. Dave, what it's going to be interesting will be how Denzel Ward pairs with Tyson Campbell at the corners, facing the near best in the business with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. That will be interesting, those matchups.
Totally agree with you. Got that in my notes, Steve. Again, the Browns run man coverage more than any other team in the league. I think that's going to be. It's always key. When we play them, and one of the biggest reasons we've defended the Bengals well is our two best players, Myles and Denzel, usually play really well against the Bengals.
And if you remember, Dave, Denzel and Greg Newsome did a good job against Higgins and Chase.
Yes.
But then we traded Newsome to Jacksonville. We get Tyson Campbell in return.
Yep.
Campbell's working out better for us. So I'm real excited to see how those guys, Ward and Campbell, pair with two of the best in the business.
Give Andrew Berry a little bit of love there, Steve.
I do a little bit. That's why they say that he's probably coming back next year. He's done just enough recently, and it looks like they're not going to look at everything from the past. That's what it seems to be. This could be your matchup for years to come, depending on how Martin Emerson recovers from the torn Achilles tendon. Joe Burrow wants to win this season finale at home and be ready to go to work for next season. You guys get this. The Bengals have missed the playoffs 3 years in a row, which is hard to believe. I didn't even know that stat was true. I was like, man, weren't they just in it? Yeah, they were just in a Super Bowl, but that was longer ago now, guys.
I would add, Steve, they did have winning seasons the last 2 years, to be fair to them. So, it wasn't, completely lost years the last 2 years. But, yeah, to miss the playoffs with a quarterback as good as Burrow, it's got to be really disappointing, especially last year when he had an incredible season.
You can make the argument, though, that's why they brought Flacco in. Hold that fort down, and I'll be honest, he didn't hold it down. He got one win for them, guys. Just a heads up on that.
Yeah.
Put up some big numbers and some cool things on ESPN. But, yeah, you got to win football games. That's the bottom line.
And some of that wasn't on Flacco. I forgot about that. The defense let him down a few times, too. So it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Little bit of both. Keep going.
Well, they've had Burrow and this stellar offense, but the defense has been that bad and hasn't given Burrow, the top 3 quarterback in the league, any help. By paying Burrow and star receivers Higgins and Chase, they're about tapped out on money to spend on the defense, guys.
Yep.
One weapon Joe Burrow has is his running game is Chase Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, he can amass over 1,000 yards running for the season if he gets about 53 yards, which is very possible, even though the Browns' run defense is pretty good. And keep in mind, guys, he has 65 catches on the year, so he can be a weapon there as well for Joe Burrow. The Browns' defense is tough, so we will see again how Ward and Campbell match up with Higgins and Ward, or Chase, rather. The Bengals' defense is a bad one. They lost defensive sensation Trey Hendrickson for the season, and Joseph Asai is out for this one, guys. So defensive ends, Miles Murphy and rookie Shamar Stewart are expected to be the main contributors on the defense. Guys, I think the Bengals have the advantage in this one, though. Burrow is at home. He has his weapons. The Browns are missing some top players. Guys, I have the Bengals winning 28-20. Maybe a shootout. Sorry, Browns fans. The season ends as it had begun with loss. And by the way, to the Bengals.
All right. Well said, Steve. We will get to Mr. Dave Greenshield. Steve, get into the Browns and the Bengals matchup for us.
Okay, Brent. I have to say, it appears that both the Bengals and the Browns come into this one with a little momentum. The Browns 4-12 have surpassed its win total from last year with their 13-6 victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. The Bengals 6-10. Has 2 straight wins during which they had scored at least 37 points after being shut out against Baltimore on the 14th of December. Cincinnati picked up its second straight win with a 37-14 rout over the visiting Arizona Cardinals. Both teams would like to end the season with a win. Let's start with the Browns, and let's start with Shador Sanders. Through the game-winning touchdown pass against the Steelers, but he also threw 2 interceptions that have been costly. Sanders has thrown 7 interceptions against just 2 touchdowns over his last 3 games. He does benefit from facing the 27th ranked Bengals pass defense. This could be a game, as I mentioned earlier, where Tommy Rees let Shedeur let it rip. Some of the throws against a Bengals pass defense that has been exposed for the most part this season. It's given up late leads, as Brent mentioned, against the Bears and the Jets and other teams. So, they're going to be without the services of his star running back, Quinshon Judkins, who was lost to a broken leg on December 21st against Buffalo, and tight end Harold Fannin, as Steve mentioned earlier, with the groin injury. Fannin first suffered it, during a practice on December 26th and aggravated it 2 days later. Steve, it seemed like that catch against the Steelers last week is really what did it, kind of re-aggravated on making that great touchdown catch.
Exactly. It was a great catch, Dave, and he looked like he'd be fine, right? And then, gosh, he couldn't get up, and Shedeur ran down to try to help him out, and yeah, they had to get him up off the field. That's too bad because he's had a heck of a year, guys.
Yeah, I think he's got future Pro Bowler written all over him, Steve. I think he's going to be one of the best in the league.
Absolutely.
Yep. Cincinnati has forced 11 takeaways in its last 6 games, tied for the 3rd most in the NFL during that stretch. The Bengals are going to be without the services of Trey Hendrickson. They've been without him since late October, I would add. It's interesting. They gave Hendrickson, I think, that short-term contract. So, it's kind of a disappointing season for Hendrickson, obviously to have the injury and not be able to complete the season. They have gotten solid play, specifically, encouraging from, first-round pick Miles Murphy, rookie linebacker Demetrius Knight, and third-round pick Jordan Battle, by the way. It'll be interesting to see if the Browns wide receivers can make some plays in this one. Steve, you're right. It'd be nice to see Tillman and Judy make some plays like we saw last week. Maybe they can get off to a good start. I think they can expose maybe these Bengals corners in this one. This is an opportunity for Shedeur to push the ball down the field and work some of those intermediate routes. What do you think?
I like it, Dave, and I think he should just do that. And Tillman's probably going to get open. I mean, they may leave him open so you can get him the ball, and Judy's expected. I'd like to see, some of those runs across the middle where he catches it and then yards after catch. That'd be nice. Connect with Judy on a play like that, Dave.
Yeah, this isn't an overly dominant, Bengals pass rush, especially without their best pass rusher in Hendrickson. He should have time to throw. Let's see what Shedeur does. Let's see this Tommy Rees game plan. Let it rip, and let's see if Shedeur can finish the season strong. I did want to get to Stefanski, who could be coaching his last game for the Cleveland Browns. He's a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. I know, 2-time Coach of the Year, but Cleveland has gone 7-26 since making the playoffs in 2023. Get this, Steve. He has the longest tenure for a Cleveland Browns coach since Sam Rutigliano, who was at the helm for 6.5 seasons from 1978 through 1984.
I love Coach Sam.
Yeah, great man, by the way. Loved by his players, too. I want to go around the horn. Thoughts? Is Kevin on his way out? Steve, right. then Brent.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
Dave, I think Kevin finally is on his way out. I've been wanting this for years, actually, but I know you don't care what I think. Stefanski just, what I'm hearing, guys, is it might not even be called a firing. It may be a mutual decision between both the organization and Stefanski. Stefanski say, thank you. I love being here. I enjoyed my time. I'm ready to move on. You guys are ready to move on. It's almost going to be like a bad marriage breakup type thing, but everyone's going around peacefully more, I want to say. I do think he's gone. I think that's almost 100%. Barry, they may be keeping, by the way, but Stefanski, I believe, is on his way out. The Giants may be interested in him. Teams are definitely have interest in Stefanski, but I think it's just time for the Browns to get a new voice. I mean, whether you like him or not, it's just that time for both ends, guys. I just really believe it. What do you think, Brent?
Yeah, well said there. I think it's going to be a 60-40 kind of thing. I think 60% he will be gone. Okay. I don't think it's as clear cut. For example, if they go out today and they get a win and Shedeur balls out, boy, man, that could put him back. We even talked at the beginning of the year, me and Dave, the win total was around 6. Oh, he got him the five. He got him the five.
Well-
And here we go. He's back in. I'm not kidding
Well,
you guys.
no, Brent, get this. Speaking of, remember your boy that you love him, Eric Mangini. I think he ended with like 4 or 5 wins in a row. They ended up 5-11, and he still got fired. I don't think that Jimmy can still make a change even with the win.
I'm just telling you. I actually, guys, I saw Mary Kay Cabot and all her staff. They want him back.
Well,
It's just crazy good.
I'll pay a little shout out. Mary Kay is very toe in the company line. I've listened to Mary Kay on more than a few occasions.
Yeah.
She's like, you want to talk about state media? She's state media for the Browns. I mean,
you're right.
She's dishing out whatever they're shoveling. And I will say this about Stefanski. I actually think, I listened to the Cleveland Sports Show. Kevin Lloyd had a great, Jason Lloyd, pardon me, had a great line this week. He says the Browns organization has finally broken Kevin Stefanski. And I see it a little bit on the sideline. The Deshaun Watson decision, which set this organization back years, and the way this organization has been poorly run, and Kevin has had to deal with it. I know you don't want to say boo-hoo for Kevin, but he has to deal with all that garbage that is Jimmy and that organization. So I think there's something to that. I think it's finally broken, Kevin. I think it would be a good mutual parting of the ways. That's my view on it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I want him gone too. I'm just telling you, I think the door is a little bit open, especially with a win. With a win, he can backdoor his way in. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
I'm kidding you.
Okay. Yeah, on the other side of the ball, Cincinnati is 5-2 this season in games with Burrow and 1-8 without him. Had the Bengals managed to win 2 more games during Burrow's absence, there's a very good chance that Cincinnati would be vying for this weak AFC North Division title this weekend. Burrow has thrown 6 touchdowns to 0 picks in his last 2 games with a completion percentage over 77% in those games. He is one of the league's most formidable group of skill players, led by Jamar Chase, who's been targeted a league-high 175 times this season. That's amazing.
Wow.
The Cincinnati offense also features T. Higgins, who's caught a team-high 10 touchdown passes this season. And Steve mentioned running back Chase Brown, I think, has been very underrated, 53 yards away from that 1,000-yard season. Myles Garrett has sacked Burrow plenty of times in 6 seasons since Burrow has been the top overall pick by the Bengals in 2020. The defensive end has had 15 sacks in 13 career games against the Bengals, 12 of them against Burrow. For the season, Garrett is at 22 sacks and needs 1 to surpass Strahan and TJ Watt's shared mark of 22 and a half. Going to be interested to see how the Bengals tackle combination of Orlando Brown and Amarius Mims hold up in this one. The Browns, again, as Steve mentioned, run man coverage more than any other team in the league. Denzel Ward versus Jamar Chase will be a matchup that we always want to watch in this one. I would add, Chase has said that Ward is the best corner he faces on a yearly basis. Maybe that's because he sees him twice a year, but that's a nice shout out by Chase. It's going to be tough, Steve, for the Browns to be without star rookie linebacker Carson Schlesinger. By the way, 125 tackles this season, 10-plus tackles for a loss, and 2 interceptions this season. He's got to be the easy choice for Defensive Rookie of the Year, wouldn't you say, Steve?
I think you should get that for sure, Dave. I mean, Defensive Player of the Year, absolutely. I mean, he's close to making even a Pro Bowl. Maybe just a little short because there are some really good players there. But He's had a heck of a season and been a great leader and doesn't want to come off the field. That's what I love, too. They said, you're going to have to drag me off this field. I'm playing. The Browns aren't going to let him play in this last game, and he'll respectfully listen to that. But, man, what a fighter, what a soldier he is.
Yeah, I haven't seen that type of warrior mentality football play since I was watching 1990s Black Tigers football. So that was that was
very true, Dave.
Yes. People laid it on the line for Don Ross, Steve. You know
Ronnie, great coach, excellent coach. He just came in for dinner after the basketball game. It was great talking to him.
We better get off of this. Brent's going to start talking.
Hey, all I got to say is, do you have those kind of connections, Dave?
I do not. I'm just, I'm not by an oil rig drinking Global beer like some people, but I digress. But It'll be interesting to see how the Browns offense, how the Browns defense handles Burrow and the Bengals this time around. They did an excellent job in week one where he only threw for 113 yards in that one. The Bengals have had challenges with this D for a while due to Miles and Denzel, as I mentioned earlier. They play their best football against them. It'll be a very interesting matchup. Just in conclusion, we're finally here at the end of a very long season for the Browns. It's been tough. This will be an interesting matchup, as always, for the Browns defense with the challenges Burrow and his skill players in this offense can present. It'll be interesting to see if Shador can close out the season strong. He has a chance against a very suspect Bengals defense. Let's see if he can also avoid some of those bad interceptions as well. Overall, I see Miles getting the sack record. I don't see the Browns getting the win. I think Burrow and the Bengals offense are clicking and could see their defense getting a turnover or two. Give me the Bengals 24 to 17 to close out the season.
All right. Well said, Dave. All right. We will get to the game of the week. And that would go to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve Retzer last week had a trifecta.
There you go.
That's right. That's right, Brent.
Maybe the first one ever on the show.
Stop, Brent. Don't give him a big head.
Hey, he's got to get some kudos.
That was nice. That was nice.
Hey, he's got to get some kudos every now and then. All right, by the way, who are you going to lose to this week?
Oh, boy. You guys, I have to do it, especially for the show's sake. And you know, one of my side chicks and one of my favorites. I got the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Have you guys ever heard that saying? It's hard to beat a team twice.
Yes, well.
Carolina beat Tampa Bay 23-20 on December 21st. It's time for Tampa to return the favor. The winner of this game likely wins the division. It goes to the playoffs. Well, the loser goes home. There's some complications, however, guys. Carolina, with the win today, clinches the NFC North title for the Panthers. If they lose, they can still win the division, but would need the Atlanta Falcons to lose to the New Orleans Saints tomorrow. For Tampa, this is a must-win. The Bucs need to beat Carolina today and have Atlanta lose tomorrow to claim the division. A loss today eliminates Tampa from the playoff contention. Pretty unreal, guys. Like, I thought the Tampa originally I thought if they win the division, they're in. Yay, here we go. No, that they need Atlanta to lose too. Pretty unreal there, guys. The quarterback duel, Bryce Young is looking to lead Carolina to its first division title since 2015. On the other side, Baker Mayfield, he's now 5-1 against Carolina, guys, and he's dealing with shoulder and knee soreness, but he is expected to play.
Brett, I got to say this, Steve. What has happened to your guy, Baker Mayfield? I mean, what do you think this is injury related? Because a lot of people were talking this guy up for MVP early in the season. And you know what the crazy part about it is, Steve? He was doing it with a weaker supporting cast earlier in the year because that's when Evans was hurt. And, you know, they had some injuries with Godwin and, you know, Irvin, I think, was also hurt. Tristan Wirfs, their best offensive lineman, was injured, you know, for earlier portions of the season. I mean, and now he's back to that 2021 Baker, you know, where he's injured, he's throwing some bad picks. I mean, Steve, we've seen this movie before, my friend.
Yes, we have. But yeah, here's the deal. Baker's playing injured. A lot of guys would have probably given up and put the backup in. Baker doesn't give up, that's for sure. They've had the injury bug on offense, like you said, losing Wirfs. That's huge. That's their best offensive lineman, as you know that.
Yep.
They've lost Bucky Irving. They've lost Mike Evans. I mean, all these guys. Chris Godwin's injured every year, so I mean, they're this Tampa Bay defense. They have some good rankings, but they're struggling this year, Dave. I think that's also part of the reason that Tampa has been losing football games that they usually would have won last year or the year prior. As we know, these two games bet in the Week 16. As I said, it was a 23-20 nail biter. Since then, Carolina lost to Seattle, and then Tampa is on a 4-game losing streak, and they haven't won a game in over a month. So wouldn't you boys say that they're overdue, you know, for a win?
I would.
It's been a month, guys.
Yeah, I hear you. Quick thought on Carolina. I think this team is kind of a year away kind of team. I kind of actually thought that way coming into the season about them, and it's the same way I kind of thought about your Patriots coming into the season, Steve. But the Patriots have obviously been ahead of the game this season. That being said, they've done some good things this year. This is a chance for them, though. They've improved their defense, improved their offensive line. They found a little bit of a running game with Dowdell. They found a number one receiver from McMillan. But I just think that this is an organization that needs one more good offseason to really kind of make a move, this next season as far as a legit playoff team. They might be a little ahead of the schedule just for the fact that this division is so weak, I have to say, Steve.
Oh, it's definitely a weak division. And one interesting matchup, guys, will be Mike Evans versus Mike Jackson. Mm-hmm. Mike Evans historically dominates the Panthers, guys. He's had over 1,700 yards against them. He'll face Carolina's Mike Jackson, who's actually currently leads the NFL in passes defense, guys. Both teams will need to get their running game ready to play. Bucky Irving is a tough back for Tampa Bay, and he can help Baker out with some strong runs. Rashad White is the second part of that 1-2 punch for Tampa. And then in Carolina, Bryce Young's got some guys too, that Rico Dowdle. He's already rushed for over 1,000 yards, and he broke it against Tampa Bay in that first meeting. And Chuba Hubbard, I mean, you always hear his name. I think he's had over 500 yards, so they got a couple good backs in Carolina there.
Yeah, they found a solid running game, yep.
And as you said, Dave, Bryce Young has some guys to target in the passing game, including T-Mac, and then Jalen Coker's pretty good. Tampa Bay, guys, is without cornerback Jamel Dean. He's one of the best. So that's going to be something to look into in this game later today. The reinforcements have arrived. All-pro tackle Tristan Wirfs and defensive tackle Kalijah Cansey. He was activated off the IR or expected to play, guys. In the Week 16 loss to Carolina, the Bucs couldn't protect Baker or collapse the pocket, with Wirfs back to anchor the line and Cansey providing their interior pressure. Bryce Young won't have the scramble drill success he had last time, guys. Baker Mayfield is playing through the shoulder and the injuries, but he's a gamer, guys.
Yeah.
And despite yes, he is. Despite the losing streak, guys, Baker has thrown for 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns this season. He is the far more explosive playmaker compared to Bryce Young, who struggled to push the ball more than 7 yards downfield last week.
Hey, Brent, is this it for Baker, though? He's got to get it done today, or he goes to Fraud Island, right, Brent?
Oh, no. And guess what? We're getting rid of Wilson, the volleyball. He'll be gone, and Baker's in, and guess what? Him and Herbert can go get lunch together and go hunt, get fish, and they can do whatever they want on that island. I don't care what they do, but I'm just telling you, he loses, he's on that island. Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
Guys, if the Bucs offensive coordinator Josh Gizzard uses the pass to set up the run rather than being stubborn with Rashad White early, this offense will click. And get this, guys, when you say Baker can't do it, he does do it. His whole career has been played like this. He will be too tough to handle, and Tampa will get this win 24-20. The Saints will beat Atlanta from the strong play from Tyler Shuck. Buccaneers sneak into the playoffs and win the division. Go Tampa, baby.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, how to follow that up. I mean, other than oh my God, I don't see that happening at all.
Baker is not going on Fraud Island. You know, when you bet against him, he wins.
Maybe let's put it this way: we'll let him stay on that island, and maybe a ship will go by every now and then, maybe to pick him up. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway. All right. Mr. Dave Greenshield.
Yes.
You're going to finish up the season with a W. I can just feel it, right? But
well, you know what, Brett? I'm beginning where I started with my game of the week picks, and that's with the Baltimore Ravens. Sunday night showdown between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens is for the AFC North title. Fitting for the two rivals that have played ping pong with this division crown over a span of nearly 2 decades. Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh have spent nearly 2 decades staring across from each other on each sideline. Is there a chance? I got to put it out here, guys. Is there a chance the loser of this game could be coaching their last game? Thoughts? Brent, then Steve.
Well, I do not. I keep hearing that they're going to ditch these guys. I don't see it. I think if they're bluffing, that they'd be stupid to fire any one of these guys. I feel like it's overkill. Now, I will give this Harbaugh, some of those game plans in the postseason on offense have been terrible, but I don't know. I just don't see if I put him all the blame. You probably have to put some on the coordinators in the past and not just Harbaugh. These guys are staples for the organization. I'd love to have either one of them. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, guys. I'd love to have either one of these coaches. Mike Tomlin isn't going anywhere. I mean, they say it, and even in Pittsburgh, they're like, "Oh, get rid of him. Let's get another coach in there." He wins year after year. He's a winner. He's good. Just like Bill Cowler, Chuck Noll. He's one of them, guys. He's one of those men, a leader amongst men. He keeps winning. I know they lose the playoff game, guys. I'm going to admit that. But he's not that bad where you can just get rid of him. He'd be hired immediately. They say that about Stefanski all the time, but Mike Tomlin would be hired in the click of a finger. Immediately he'd be hired. There's no doubt about that. So he's a keeper, that's for sure. Get into John Harbaugh. Guys, the Ravens have just had a bad season. Lamar Jackson has been injured. He's had the injury bug. He's just had an off year. I mean, you can't be an MVP every single season. The Ravens defense has not played great. So you give him a pass. I mean, Harbaugh, another excellent coach. He'd be hired right away.
Yeah.
I just don't think they've done enough to get fired. They're both had a tough season this year, but not enough to get the axe.
I think Steve's got it nailed there.
Okay.
What an overreaction. That's all there is to it. An overreaction.
Just a quick thought. I think it would be maybe more likely Harbaugh gone than Tomlin gone if you had to make me choose between the two. I hear there's a little bit of rift between Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, which could be very, very problematic, although maybe that's being blown out of proportion in the media. I don't know. I'm not, connected enough to know the answer to that.
Hey, David. They're saying Lamar Jackson is too busy playing video games and staying up all night. Someone's saying it. Some reports are out there. I think it's hilarious.
Not enough film work there, Steve. Yeah, I'm hearing that. Okay. Well, what's interesting here is the Ravens appeared buried after the injury-plagued 1-5 start to the season. They got it together enough to briefly join the Steelers atop the division, only to stumble yet again before an emphatic victory at Green Bay last weekend. I had them dead and buried after that Week 16 loss to the Pats, which was another one of my Game of the Week picks. The Steelers missed a golden opportunity to wrap up the division title last week in Cleveland, suffering a 13-6 loss to the Browns. Pittsburgh hasn't won the division since 2020, the COVID year, and hasn't advanced in the playoffs since 2016, by the way. Let's start with the Ravens in this one. Quarterback Lamar Jackson plans to play after missing that game with a back injury. It's been a rough season for Lamar. We've seen injuries and a consistent to poor play this season. He's only thrown for over 200 yards passing once this season. You haven't seen the high level and explosive plays that we're used to seeing from Lamar in the past. And he's had his struggles in the past with the Steelers defense. Only a 72.8 passer rating with 10 interceptions in 9 career games against the Steelers. Outside linebacker TJ Watt, however, is hopeful to return after missing 3 games while recovering from a surgery to repair a partially collapsed lung. Watt has collected 17 of his 115 career sacks against the Ravens. It does appear he's a go in this one, by the way, guys. Lamar and the Ravens will have the help of workhorse running back Derrick Henry. He ran for 216 yards and 4 touchdowns last weekend against Green Bay, carrying the ball a career-high 36 times. The 31-year-old running back, Steve, doesn't show any signs of slowing down. This guy's been incredible.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. And I said he'd have a better year than Saquon Barkley, and he has. You know what they do? They just forget about him sometimes, Dave. I mean, he's excellent, yet it was about time he had the 200-plus yards. So even in this game against Pittsburgh, and if they do make the playoffs, Dave, you're going to have to send them a text message. Don't forget to run Henry, because, I mean, when they lost to the Chiefs a few years back, guess why? You're not running Henry. You got to hand the ball off to this guy, guys. You have to.
Well, to be fair, just real quick, Henry's first year with the Ravens was last year. And
Okay. Yes, you're right.
I do believe they made a mistake by not running him in that playoff loss to Buffalo last year was also a mistake as well.
Correct. It's always a mistake if you don't run to Henry because the Ravens' rushing attack can be solid, and they don't have to go to the pass all the time. I guess is what I mean.
Agreed. The Steelers have been solid against the run, ranking 12th overall, only giving up an average of about 111 yards on the ground. So they've been fairly solid. The Steelers could use a strong performance from veteran defensive end Cam Hayward in his 15th season. He needs to be good in this one to contain Henry. He'll be a key player. The Steelers' pass defense has been suspect this season, ranking 29th overall. If there was a game for Lamar and the Ravens to get the passing game going, it should be this one. If they do get it going, watch out for wide receiver Zay Flowers to be a key contributor. He's having an excellent season overall, 82 catches for 1,073 yards. The Steelers play a ton of man coverage, fourth most of any team in the league. Those corners have been exposed in a fair amount of games this season. The Browns did a fair amount of that last week, although I think the Steelers were running some zone early on in that game. I do expect Pittsburgh to gang up on the run this one. This will be a game where Lamar will need to make some plays with both his arm and his legs. On the other side of the ball, the Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has been solid, if not spectacular, in his first and perhaps his only season in Pittsburgh. By the way, I think this is it for Rodgers, guys. Could this be possibly his last game? Any thoughts on that?
Dave, I got to tell you this. Aaron Rodgers said it himself in an interview. He goes, last week was a stinker. He goes, have I ever had a stinker twice? The answer is no.
Okay.
He doesn't come back from a stinker and play bad again. I do think he can play well on this game, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings. I think he might be back. Money's right. And, I'll tell you right now, I don't think there's that many good quarterbacks in the NFL, to be honest with you.
That's true.
I could see him if the money's right coming back. And, I don't know. I got mixed feelings about it. Keep going.
Okay. The 42-year-old four-time MVP quarterback has thrown 22 touchdown passes this season to 7 picks, and possibly at his best game of his 21st season 4 weeks ago at Baltimore, where he threw 284 yards and a touchdown, while also running for a touchdown as well. He's not had a whole lot of help from a very weak supporting cast in Pittsburgh. The offensive line's had its struggles. They really haven't had a consistent running game throughout the entire season, and it's not a deep wide receiver room. To that point, the Steelers will be without a suspended wide receiver, DK Metcalf, who will serve the second half of his second of a 2-game suspension he received for making the physical contact with a fan of the Detroit Lions, by the way, on December 21st. Metcalf was leading the team with 850 yards receiving at the time before the suspension. That's 500 yards more than any other wide receiver on the team. So he's a huge chunk of this offense. This wide receiver group has had real issues with getting separation. It's going to be interesting to see if the group of MVS, Scotty Miller, and Adam Thielen can make some plays in this one. The Ravens' pass defense has been suspect. They're actually tied for 29th overall, interesting enough, with the Steelers. The Ravens have really struggled to generate a pass rush. They're tied with the Panthers at 28 sacks this season, which is the third lowest in the NFL. The Ravens still have one of the best safeties in the league in Kyle Hamilton, second on the team with 96 tackles. Jalen Warren has been averaging over 7 yards a carry in his last 2 games. The Ravens, again, have been solid against the run, 11th overall. So they've improved a little bit defensively since their early season struggles. Veteran Roquan Smith leads the Ravens with 127 tackles, still one of the better linebackers in the league as well. I have a feeling the Steelers will need to get more from Rodgers in the pass game than they got last week in Cleveland when it was just pathetic. But just in conclusion, I have a feeling this one's going to be a rock fight. These offenses have had their issues this season. Both the defenses haven't exactly been vintage Pittsburgh or Baltimore as well. This could be one that could come down to the former multiple MVP quarterbacks making some key plays in this one. I would say Lamar does have the benefit of King Henry to give the ball to, so that's something to keep in mind. Brent, I believe this is the 4th time I picked Baltimore in my game of the week. They've lost all 3 times. Not to mention,
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
Not to mention, I picked them to win the Super Bowl at the start of the season, with the extravaganza. Brent, I'm going down with the ship. Give me Lamar. Give me King Henry. Watch out for Zay Flowers to make a few key plays in this one. I'm going Ravens. 17-14 to keep my very, very slim Super Bowl pick alive, Brent.
Yeah, you need that because that's right. That was your Super Bowl pick. So
okay.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna need that. All right, good luck on that one. And we'll get to my game of the week, and that's San Francisco and Seattle for the NFC West crown.
Yeah, game of the week.
Nice.
Comes down to a heavyweight season finale as the 12-4 Frisco 49ers host the 13-3 Seattle Seahawks to win the division title, and the conference #1 seed is on the line. While San Francisco took the first meeting back in week 1 with a gritty 17-13 victory, both teams have evolved into an offensive juggernaut since then. Brock Purdy is coming off his historic back-to-back games with 5 touchdowns, while Sam Darnold's Seahawks currently boast the league's second highest scoring offense.
Brent, real quick, I think I have to say Purdy is evolving into one of the best quarterbacks in the league because you know how you can tell he's got a much weaker supporting cast. You look at what he did last week. No Kittle. He's got, they've had new wide receivers this year that he's had to adjust to. No Ayuk. Deebo Samuel's now in Washington. I think there's a few things that I've realized with San Francisco this year. Kyle Shanahan's one of the top 5 coaches. Christian McCaffrey is on his way to eventually the Hall of Fame. And Brock Purdy has developed into one of the better quarterbacks in this league, Brent.
Wasn't I on Browns&Beyond early in the season, and I had him as top 10 quarterback and 2 people that I
can't remember
names.
At first, we thought Mac Jones was going to take the job from Purdy.
Yeah.
And then Shanahan did give the job back to Purdy, and he proved he could do it. But Mac Jones was playing great. It's just the 49ers are just playing great this year. It's pretty unbelievable.
If only I had the Dylan Gabriel prediction right, I'd be
a little off on that one, baby.
Nobody got that one right.
I know. Hey, by the way, you guys let me know too. And Steve would come in every week. Oh, he's got a water pistol, and oh my God.
No, that was me. I said water pistol.
Yeah. All right. The key to this matchup will be whether the Niners' surging run game can crack Seattle's top 3 rushing defense, especially with the high-stakes injury questions surrounding Trent Williams and George Kittle. It's a winner-take-all scenario at Levi Stadium that promises plenty of fireworks. And I have the 49ers. Give me that San Francisco treat. 38-29.
Wow.
I know. You know what I'm going to do with it? Well, hold on. When I get done with this game, I'm going to hop on a trolley, okay? I'm just letting you go. All right? Fuck that.
Hey, Brett, I have
the San Francisco treat.
And maybe, you know what? I'm going to go to dinner with Nancy. I'm going to dinner with Nancy Pelosi as well.
I don't know if you want to go there, Brent. I will say this. Quick comment. This is a top 5 defense by Seattle. They're a tough nut to crack. And I'm going to have something to say about Seattle's offense here in just a minute, Brent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Here we'll get to the last segment. And that is the bold predictions, and we will lead with Mr. Dave Greenfield. Dave, you got to win one of these, don't you?
Well, you know what? How's this for a segue? You're talking about the 49ers and Seahawks? I'm going to go there. I'm going for Sam Darnold to throw for 3 touchdowns against that San Francisco 49ers beleaguered defense. He's had a very solid season. 25 touchdown passes, tied for 7th in the league. I believe we've been here before with Sam, like a year ago when he was with the Vikings, having a great year. He went into Detroit against the Lions with the division title and home field on the line, and it didn't go well for Sam. He had probably his worst game of the year in a loss to Detroit. He went on to Fraud Island, Brent. He was on Fraud Island. It was tough for Sam.
Oh, my God.
You know what? He makes up for it this week. He throws for 2 touchdowns, exposes a beleaguered 49ers pass defense. No Warner, no Nick Bosa. They got the worst pass rush in the league, least amount of sacks in the league does the 49ers without Bosa. I think he lights it up with JSN, one of the top 5 receivers in the league. He leads the Seahawks to the division title and the #1 seed, Brett Keaton, and he gets off of Fraud Island. What do you think of that, Brent?
You know what? Can I just cut that last 3 minutes out of the segment? Can I do that? I like it when the Niners win. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Brent, I think Seattle's winning that football game too. Just wanted to throw that out to you.
I see an edit coming. All right. All right. We will get to Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, what do you got here for the bold prediction?
Well, boys, my bold prediction happened to go correlate with my game of the week. I have Baker Mayfield, who is playing injured with the shoulder and the knee injury, but he has all of his weapons, will throw 3 touchdowns and no interceptions and lead his team to a win over the Carolina Panthers and hopefully win the division. Mike Evans is going to catch one. Emeka Egbuka is going to catch one. I like to see Bucky Irving involved.
Okay.
Baker, it's time for the fireworks in Tampa. Cannons will be shot off. He's getting it, guys. He's going to get it at home. Tampa gets the win. Baker 3 touchdowns. Go Buccaneers.
That is very bold, Steve. That's pretty bold.
It's bold.
Yeah, that's his bold. Well, you're going down with your guy. He's your guy. He's one of your side chick quarterback. Steve. So he's going down with.
Yeah, a love affair. There's only certain people that can go to that family reunion, Dave.
Yeah, well, Baker Mayfield and Mike Vrabel are at the head of the line. Yeah.
And me and you, if we are allowed to come, we got to bring potato salad. They don't have to bring anything.
Oh yeah, Brett. They get free veal parm. They get anything they want at the Retzer family reunion.
We got nothing. I mean, I'm lucky to get a leftover salad that it's already been worked over. I
got iced tea. Unlimited iced tea. Just put your glass underneath and just fill it up as many times as you like. Veal Parmesan for Vrabel, but I got iced tea for you, buddy.
Yeah, miss me on your corner.
Yeah, I know. He's doing his thing there. He's trying to give you a discount, and he's not helping at all. He's kind of insulting you by giving you that quarter off. Anyways,
yes.
All right. We will get to my Browns and Bengals, kind of prediction here. I'm with Steve Retzer on this. I'm pretty close to Steve's prediction.
Okay.
I got 27-19. I think Steve Retzer had it 28-20.
Right.
So I'm right there. I just, I think it'll be somewhat of a competitive game at the very end. The Bengals kind of, pull away and get that one done. And then, like Steve said, we kind of keep our draft position. And then this one, hopefully this loss would solidify Stefanski's ouster. And that's kind of what I want to. I don't want him to stay,
Okay. Yeah, your buddy Burrow closes out the season strong there, right, Brent?
Yeah, if he gets it done, 7 wins, a little short, but not all his fault, obviously, because he had the injury.
Right.
All right, we will get some final thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up. Dave Greenshield, give me some final thoughts.
Yeah, I think overall I had a lot of fun here, guys. With this episode, we're at the end of a very, very long season here for the Browns. Going to be interesting to see, how this game closes out. I have a feeling we're going to see a little bit of offense in this one, and just really excited about our game of the weeks. So it's going to be an interesting last week of the season in the NFL, right, Steve?
That's right, Dave. I'm excited as well. I just want Shador to perform well with Joe Burrow, do a little bit of a shootout. Let's get Myles Garrett back to break the sack record.
Yes.
And I'm excited for my game of the week in Tampa Bay, guys.
Okay.
I like that. I think we're going to get someone a competitive. We need Shador to do well, just to kind of talk about the quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. I mean, I looked at it. Dave's kind of got me swayed a little bit on this now. I talked to Dave about this. I think it was a few days ago about the Mendoza and some of this other stuff. Yeah. What I see out of those guys? They might be better than Shador with just the fundamentals and mechanics, but Shador with that scrambling and just his arm, and just if you could correct and maybe make Shador, if he works on his game in the offseason, Shador's just as good as those guys. He's got that trajectory to just be good as what's the two Mendoza and the other guy from Oregon.
Moore.
Yeah, Moore. There's nothing about those guys that stands out that says, "Oh my God, this is the next Burrow." That's for sure, right, Dave?
Agreed. And some new coaching in the offseason, whether it be a new head coach, OC, quarterback coach, just new offensive staff, would definitely help, Brent.
Yeah, I don't see a packaging up and going to get Mendoza. I just don't see it. They'd have to be where the Raiders are to get him, and if they're not, then you might as well just stay pat. And we don't know, more might be going back to college, right? Right, Dave? There's that chance.
Yeah,
right?
some of that Phil Knight money might bring him back to Oregon. We're gonna have to see how he closes out the playoff. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, guys, have a good one. This was fun. Take care.